Hello friends, it is Mina and welcome to another video on this YouTube channel. In the collective energies that have been showing up recently, we have really had a strong highlight on ritual, routine, structure, and personal discipline within our own lives. We are really being called to pay more attention and have more awareness on the structure and routine of our day-to-day lives and what kind of a life we are creating. So in today's video, I wanted to take you along with me as I welcome in the month of December. This is a routine either in part or in its entirety that I repeat every month to hold space with being intentional and intentionally welcoming in a new month and setting my intentions for what that month is going to look like. I like to be an active participant in the flow and structure and energy of my day-to-day life. So for planning for December, what I do is I actually start with November. And you will see in this video that I will refer to my habit tracker a lot. So what I'll do is I will start by going over November's habits and just kind of take a look at how the month went. You know, what habits did I perform well at? Did I repeat often? And what habits didn't really get much attention from me? Is there a reason why? Am I not quite ready to break certain bad habits or routines in order to welcome in better habits? Or, you know, was I not really structured with the planning of how these habits were going to be brought into my routine? You know, right now I have my tracker, but I don't necessarily have in the calendar, this is when I'm specifically going to work on this habit. So that's something that I need to implement. But I'll just kind of take a look at November and check mark what goals I accomplished, take a look at what the habits were, what was the frequency, and it'll kind of give me an idea on how I want to plan the next month. And then I'll start to create the December tracker. I'll do 2 pages typically. So I'll start with my habit tracker and just kind of work on that space. And then after that, I will list certain goals that I have. So, you know, like I have my goals listed here. I have my important dates. I have, you know, what days I get paid and what my bills are. So those are, I'll just pick different energies that are kind of forefront of my life based on my goals. So in 2025, one of my goals was to be more of an active participant, use that phrase again, of my finances. I don't want to be somebody that's afraid to look at my bank app. I want to know what I'm getting paid. I want to know what my bills are. I want to know what my extra is, so that way I can be more intentional with how I'm spending my money instead of being irresponsible with it. This has been a struggle for me personally in the past, so it's something that I want to have in the forefront of my mind. And with this habit tracker, with this one pager that I do each month, I actually keep it on my vanity in my room, because what I noticed is that if I have a certain habit tracker, but I have this put away, I don't fill it out. You know, when I first started my habit tracker at the beginning of, you know, because I've kind of gone off and on with some of these things over the years. And sometimes I move away from it. But as you can see, I started it in August of this year. And see how there's nothing really filled out? When I started creating this, I had it put away primarily. So I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't, you know, looking at it every day. But, you know, in October, I started having it on my vanity. And as you can see for last month, there's way more activity going on. So I've slowly evolved this over time and just kind of been more intentional with how it's going to work best for me and my life. I like to have something like this up and in my face every day, just so that way as I'm going through my day, I can constantly come back to center. What are my goals? What am I working on? What do I need to do next? In this day and age where we are so easily distracted by our wonderful cell phones, it can be really challenging to come back to center, to remind ourselves like, hey, I actually have goals outside of work and cleaning and cooking and like household responsibilities that I want to accomplish. So let's figure out a way to implement them, right? So yeah, I will spend some time to create my planner for the month. For this one, I have my habit trackers. I have my beginning and end of the month weight. So I have certain weight loss goals and physical health goals. I will have important dates, and I will have my quarterly goals as well as my monthly goals. I made a video a few months back where I was talking about how I'm working on manifesting my dream life by the time I'm 40. I want my 40s to be my golden decade. I'll have that video linked above, but that video is going to be somewhat of a playlist because I have 7 quarters from now until my 40th birthday. And so I've structured some of my goals in quarters. So this quarter was the first one that I started being intentional about what my goals are per quarter towards my dream life. Now, so far for this quarter, I have made movement towards this particular goal, but I have to be more intentional and realistic about what my disposable income is towards certain goals. But I will talk more about that towards the end of December. But I'm trying to bring in different conversations into what I'm seeing every day. And then I'll have a little section for my expenditures. You know, there are apps and different things for this, but I find that having certain goals that I have, having it on paper in a space where I'm going to see it regularly helps me to actually fill it out. Apps just get lost. Certain things on the cell phone just kind of get lost in the noise and scrolling and notifications and all those things. So I really like to have pen and paper often. When I'm done with this, I typically either the last day of the current month or the first day of the new month, I will spend time in my goals and gratitude journal. This has previously just been a gratitude journal, but when I was filling it out today, I changed it to my goals and gratitude journal. That way I am, you know, these things are in more than one place, so I'm seeing them more often than just a little tab in my journal. Having this as an intention for each month kind of is one of those ways that bring me back to center. And so I at least have a day per month in there that I'm spending time in my gratitude journal. Ideally, we would want to spend a lot of time in our gratitude journal monthly, but we can be grateful in moments that aren't necessarily captured in a journaling activity. We can look for ways to be grateful in any aspect of life. And so I often do that as well. Not everything goes pen to paper, but so yeah, that's what I spent some time doing today after I was finished with my custom calendar. After that, I moved more into spiritual, magical space. Okay. I don't pull tarot cards every week or every day. for myself, but I do like to hold space with the divination of tarot at least once a month. And so today I sat down with one of my decks and just pulled some cards. You know, what energies are being highlighted for me this month in December? What do I need to focus on releasing? What do I need to focus on bringing in? What does my energy space need to be in? What do I need to be aware of? So ultimately, I ended up with multiple cards and had a good time with that. So that's something that I recommend doing. It's something that I do as part of my monthly preparation. And then for me in particular, I ended the day with welcoming in December with a channeling session. I will link the video above here. It will be released right around the same time as this video as well, because I'm kind of going over similar energies today, but we all have different guides and guardians that we work with that are helping us to become our best selves on this journey. And I have been working with my dragon team off and on for almost 8 years at this point. And stepping into channeling space is something that I have wanted to do off and on for quite a few years and have had a lot of resistance in the surrendering to that space. So today marked a day that I started to record channeling sessions with my dragon team. They're called the Dragonia, or specifically Sensei Dragonia is kind of the collective energy that I work with in this space. Part of the messages that I have been receiving and we as a collective have been receiving is about sharing of our knowledge, sharing of our skills with each other and what that looks like. And I have kind of gone back and forth, and I've spoken about it in a few of my previous videos about going through times in my life where I myself have needed to be more in that introspective, internal hermit sort of energy and not necessarily in a sharing of myself space. But it is important to come back to center and come back to sharing of our skills, sharing of our magic, sharing of our knowledge with each other. And so that's how I ended welcoming in December today. Besides recording this and being intentional about how I share of what works well for me, I have come to a beautiful place in my life where I really don't put a lot of pressure on myself in comparison or competition to others. I'm really just content and happy with who I am. I am only in competition with myself and who I am striving to become. And I've spent a lot of time delving into different techniques and skills and mindsets and shifts and ways that I operate in the day-to-day of my life that has brought me magic and peace and bliss and success. It's who I have become. And so it's something that I do enjoy and do find value in sharing of conversation with. So I hope that you enjoyed some of this conversation today. This is how I welcome in a new month. And it's not something that I just do once and then forget about. Some of them are, but especially with the calendar that I do with my planning, it helps me to have more clarity, more accountability, more structure and discipline into the habits and the routine that I am anchoring into both my magic and my human experience on the day-to-day. So it really helps me to just have that at a glance doc available for my month. So thank you for being present with me in this video today. As always, share any thoughts or any questions or any ideas down in that comment section below. If you want to connect with me further, any additional information, of course, will be down in that description box. As always, stay wild and spooky, but most of all, stay magical. This is Mina, and I will see you next time. Until then, take care.